So you might be wondering, what on earth am I talking about here? And to be honest, it's something I've been teasing for quite a long time, and I've just been getting myself to the point where I feel ready to actually do this, and now I do. So I've been teaching and coaching people for the last year and a half or so, and in that time, I've had a lot of thoughts and ideas about how I would want to teach a course online. To make it accessible, right? To give someone an hour's lesson costs that person around 45 to £50. And if I coach someone, it's about £250 a quarter with a couple of sessions and plenty of chat, WhatsApp, email, and whatever that person needs to feel like I'm helping them out in that time. And I've done quite a few of these now. People I've normally coached for 2 or 3 quarters in a row, and they feel like they've developed something they can then go off with. But I want to put out a course to start with on Patreon. So I've got a background in coaching. That was as a personal trainer for nearly a decade, and then running a business in property management, investment and development, which I know a lot of people have asked what I did for a living or do for a living. I don't do it so much anymore. I managed to get myself in a position where I didn't have to. And to be honest with you, I'd always been wanting to live a more creative life. So when I put my first YouTube guitar video out about nearly 4 years ago now, that was the start of it all for me. And I'd started playing that month. I played as a teenager, stopped for 15 years, came back, and I started playing that month, and I was very excited, I've got to be honest. And I started putting out YouTube videos pretty much straight away after a month or so of playing. It's only when I look back now I realise, I needed a lot of work. And that's what I've spent the last nearly 4 years doing. It was the beginning of January in 2020 when I started playing, picked up the guitar, and like I think a lot of people, the progress at the beginning is a little bit slow. And that's why I turned to buying a lot of gear. As a teenager, I just cared about being with my mates, playing the music, enjoying it, partying, meeting girls, all of that stuff. And I did that as a kid. I stopped playing when I was about 19 when I went to university. Before that, I'd been in a few bands, played locally around, played in Battle of the Bands and all that stuff. It was great fun. And I was a pretty decent player as a kid. So I'm not trying to say I started from nowhere. I could play plenty of Hendrix, Santana and Led Zeppelin tracks as a teenager, like a lot of us can. I learnt them from listening to those tapes where the guy read out the tab and then you could rewind them forward, rewind them forward. It was amazing. I used to love that. But anyway, when I came back at the age of 34, I had no dexterity in my fingers. I'd spent 15 years as a power lifter stroke strongman. I'd done some strongman competition. So my hands weren't ready for it. It took a long time. On top of that, as a kid, I just learnt songs that I liked and the pentatonic scale. And now I didn't want to do that. I wanted to learn how to just play the blues. And for me, that means accompanying yourself and playing rhythm and melody in one piece. I've been working towards that for all this time. Not that I think I'm the finished article or anywhere near being the finished article, and that's just not even how I view music or art or anything creative as a whole. Anyone at any stage is and should be looking to learn as much as possible. That's how I live my life. I spend some time learning something, I spend time sort of getting better at it, assimilating it, and then I hit a plateau, I hit frustration, and I'm ready for the next thing. I'm always looking for someone who can impart me some new knowledge or a new way of looking at things. And I just want to be someone who can help someone else to find a new way to do something, or to get them out of a rut, or to stop them from feeling frustrated. That's what I do with students all the time. I find it very motivating for myself to keep myself learning, and I find that most students find, something out of talking with someone on a regular basis about how they're doing with their learning and where they want to get to and what they want to learn next. And then, we sort of work together on that. I help people to set goals. I help people to get to them. That's something I've always done. With this course, obviously, I'll be working without a single student in front of me. So I'm having to think, how do I gauge where people would need to be at every stage? So my course is going to start at a pretty basic level. And I'm hoping that in that first 6 or 8 lessons, I can really impart over enough starter knowledge for anyone who's never played this style of music before, whether they've played a lot of guitar or not before, to get into the style of it. I love the rhythm of it. I love the feeling of it. I love the fact that it's not about how many different notes you can play, but it's how you put them together. It's how you phrase things. And I'm always trying to work and hone myself to get better at that. And I know that I'll look back in a year or 2 years and think I was rubbish then, even though I felt pretty good at the time, because I look back 6 months, a year and 2 years ago at videos I put on YouTube and think, oof, oh dear. But we all do that. I'm sure the best players, whatever that means in the world, do that as well, because that's why they keep getting better. So my course is going to come out in about 10 days, and I'd love it if you could join me on there. Whether you're a beginner or an intermediate, I think you'll hopefully find something in the way that I teach that will help you get somewhere that you want to be. And if you're interested in this style of music, even better. But if you're not, I find the way that I want to teach is going to help open you up to the whole fretboard, and then you can move on to the styles that you want from other people as well. So my course is going to be about teaching you how to use the whole fretboard. We're going to stick to one key at the beginning. We're just going to play in the key of E, right? I love using that open position. I think a lot of people do, and I will often have a lesson with someone who tells me that they know how to use the open position, but then actually feels really limited in it. I spend a lot of time playing in it, and I'm always trying to find ways to get better at it. So I'm hoping that I've got a lot that I can teach you in that. From lessons that will just be a couple of licks with tabs to lessons that are more about an idea or something that a player I love played, like whatever it's going to be. But to keep this simple for now, the lessons are going to come out 2 to 4 times a month. They will come with a tab of the main licks or ideas from that video, and they will have close-up video of me playing it at normal speed, and then I will also play it at a slower speed and talk you a little bit through what I'm doing. And then I want to leave the lesson with like an idea or a thought of what you can do to advance that idea yourself, or to how you can practice it, or how you can incorporate it into your playing. So I'm going to be working really hard at this to make these lessons as useful as possible. And I'm hoping that, as many of you will join me as possible. And I'm also looking for feedback. Once I put out the first several lessons, I'll be on here asking you what I can be doing better and different, and working hard towards giving you the best lessons I can. And just making it fun as well. Sometimes I'll end the video by talking about what gear I'm using, or show you the settings I'm using more closely, or just talk generally about how I might set it up. So that will be really fun to add on to the music, because, if you're learning a lot in a short passage of time, sometimes you need to break that up with other things. And I think it's why a lot of us look at gear as well. We might be practicing really hard on one side, but when we're taking a break and letting our brains rest, we can also be having fun with the gear. And I think that's what my channel's been about. But I don't want to go on and on. If you've watched my channel for a long time, I hope you've seen I've progressed from a real beginner who didn't sound great to someone who at least sounds okay doing what they're doing, and that's all I could have asked for at this stage. I hope I look back in 4 years' time and I feel like I've got a lot better than I am now, and that's what doing this course is about for you and for me, because putting this course on is going to help me do that. Anyway, I'm going to leave it with that for now. If you join me on Instagram, I'll put my Instagram here. I'll be keeping you sort of up to date about the exact start date, but I'll also put it on here at the time, so you can join my Patreon and see what I'm up to. All right, thanks for watching.